And welcome back. Lawmakers have just 8 days left until the fiscal cliff, when a series of tax hikes and spending cuts automatically kick in. And without a deal, those defense cuts will also take place. You're going to see a slash of spending of more than $500 billion over the next 10 years, plus a 9% cut in spending next year alone. Joining us now with how this will impact our military is CEO for Concerned Veterans for America and a U.S. Army veteran himself, Pete Hegseth. Pete, nice to see you this morning, and Merry Christmas to you.
Good morning. Merry Christmas. Thanks for having me.
These defense cuts, also known as sequestration, set to take place at the end of the year. President Obama knows this. Also set to expire those Bush-era tax cuts as well. What impact will this have on the military if these go through?
Well, it's going to have an across-the-board impact. Sequestration was never meant to be policy. It was meant to be a poison pill so bad that Congress would have to make a deal in order to avoid it. Instead, we're going to get across-the-board cuts to training, across-the-board cuts to maintenance, across-the-board cuts to the next weapon systems, to on-base things provided to families, to TRICARE. This hits just about everything. Defense Secretary Panetta has called it a meat axe. That's exactly what we get. Our readiness will be stunted by sequestration. It's just bad policy.
It's so interesting, I mean, you say that, and you're right. I mean, and Republicans agreed to it because it was one of those things they agreed to. They said, this is never going to happen. We'll agree to this.
Exactly.
Because, look, we're going to get this thing done. Now we've got 8 days left. Is it possible in that amount of time to go through with sort of a fine-tooth comb and be able to pick through these things? After all, Senator Sessions says, look, really the fiscal cliff is like 3 days away because we have to read all of this stuff to sign off on it.
It's the worst part about it. No, there isn't enough time. There's fat to be cut in the defense budget. Let's reform it. Let's go about it in a smart way with a scalpel to get rid of the fat and preserve the muscle. The Meat Act says, no, we're just going to hack it across the board. There isn't enough time to change it. So, either we're going off the cliff or there's going to be some kind of bad short-term deal that doesn't reform anything and just kicks the can down the road. We can't afford it. We need to reform. Quit kicking the can. Hopefully someone in Washington will figure that out. Speaking
of the Secretary of Defense, Leon Panetta, whom you just talked about, set to take over for him perhaps. Of course, the White House looking at possible options. And name that's being bandied about quite a bit lately is former Senator Chuck Hagel. Critics have come out slamming him, of course, and it looks like the White House may be already trying to go in a different direction, perhaps. Others say, look, give him a fair shake. Go back to his 2008 book to see that he's a fair-minded guy and a fair-minded choice. What do you say?
Well, there's been bipartisan criticism. I think he's the wrong pick at the wrong time. You look at his lack of support of Israel. You look at his unwillingness to call the Iranian Revolutionary Guard a terrorist organization. He has stepped back from any action taken against Iran. And then also, as an Iraq War veteran myself, he was one of the biggest critics at the most critical times, the one telling us we couldn't win our war, that the surge couldn't work. That voice was always here on the home front from Chuck Hagel. I don't think that's the kind of guy I want leading the Defense Department.
And yet, of course, we go through these Senate confirmation hearings, right, to have this happen. He's got a lot of friends there and
sure.
Well-liked. And you know how those confirmation hearings go, right? It's a buddy club. And at the end of the day, when you hear a lot of criticism out front, and then you get in that buddy club, and things end up going a different direction.
Well, that is very much the case. But we saw on Sunday shows yesterday hesitation from not just Republicans, from Democrats about this pick. Usually, if it's a shoe-in, you're going to hear about it early on. There's been equivocation on both sides and forceful rebuttal because it's just not the right time for Hagel.
Yeah, looks like why they might be going in a different direction this morning. Pete Hegseth, great to see you this morning. Have a great Christmas to you and your family as well.
Merry Christmas. Thank you very much.
Pete.